In our last thread, we looked at the hard evidence. We looked at the impossible stones of Baalbek, the Watcher curriculum of modern technology, and the reality that we are building a silicon body for an ancient spirit. We established that we are likely living in the little season of deception. Now, the natural reaction to that information is fear, and the natural defense mechanism of the modern Christian is a single, comforting doctrine, the Rapture. It doesn't matter if AI is summoning demons, you say. It doesn't matter if the timeline is closing in, because any minute now, I'm going to be airlifted out of here. But I have to ask you a dangerous question. What if that escape hatch was installed by the very enemy you are trying to flee? Think about it strategically. If I were the enemy, and I wanted to build a global system of high-tech sorcery, a beast system, how would I neutralize the only army capable of stopping me? I wouldn't fight them. I would convince them that they don't need to fight. I would convince them that the war is for someone else, some future generation, some tribulation saints. I would hand them a theology that tells them to pack their bags and wait on the roof while I take over the schools, the banks, and the technology. Welcome back. Today, we are pulling the thread that holds the modern church together. And when it unravels, you might find that the blessed hope you've been taught is actually a tactical retreat. We aren't here to escape the little season. We are here to occupy it. Before we get to the timeline evidence, let's pause. I know what I'm about to say goes against 99% of what is preached on Sunday mornings. It's uncomfortable to realize we might have the map upside down, but if you are tired of fluff Christianity, and you want to actually understand the mechanics of the spiritual war we are in, you need to lock in right now. If you are ready to question the narrative and stop outsourcing your thinking to tradition, hit that subscribe button right now. We are building a community of critical thinkers here, and I don't want you to miss the next thread. Do it now, because we are about to go deep. Let's do a little timeline audit. Just like we audited the crane capacity in the last video, let's audit the timeline of the Rapture. If you search the archives, the Church Fathers, the Reformers, the Puritans, you won't find it. They believed in the second coming, yes. They believed in the resurrection, absolutely. But a secret, two-stage return where the church vanishes before the trouble starts? That idea didn't exist until around 1830. It started in Scotland with a young woman named Margaret MacDonald. It gained traction with a man named John Nelson Darby, and eventually exploded in popularity in the West. Do the math. For 1800 years, Christians expected to endure. But suddenly, in the wealthiest, most comfortable era of human history, Western Christians discovered a new truth that said, actually, we don't have to do hard things. We get to leave. Does that sound like the character of God? Or does that sound like a luxury product sold to a lukewarm church? The enemy loves the rapture doctrine because it pacifies you. Now, let's look at the text. Because you're shouting at the screen, but Jesus said one will be taken and one left. Yes, he did, in Matthew 24. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be. One will be taken and the other left. We just talked about the days of Noah in the last video regarding the Watchers and the technology. So let's stick with that context. In the days of Noah, who was taken? The flood came and took them all away. The wicked were taken in judgment. Who was left? Noah. He was left behind in the ark to inherit the cleansed earth. Jesus confirms this in Luke 17. The disciples ask, "Where are they taken, Lord?" And Jesus says, "Where the body is, there the vultures will be gathered." Being taken isn't a rescue mission. It's a removal of the wicked. The modern church has completely inverted this scripture. We are praying to be taken to the wedding feast, when the text suggests that being taken means being removed from the board entirely. This aligns perfectly with the little season reality. The wheat and the tares grow together. We aren't separated until the very end. Why does this matter? Because if you think you are getting out, you won't prepare your children for the spiritual war of the little season. You won't teach them how to resist the technological beast system. So, if there is no pre-trib escape bus coming to rescue you from a future beast, what do? You stop acting like a victim and start acting like a victor. The little season is the final lap. It's the time where the deception is thickest, but it's also the time immediately preceding the final judgment, and the new heaven and new earth. We don't need to fear a future Antichrist. Christ has already defeated the powers of darkness. Our job now is to keep our heads clear in a world that is drunk on lies. Stop outsourcing your hope. Your hope is in the King who is coming to rule here. Reject the fear. The little season is a time of deception, but God is waiting for you to realize you are the garrison. Become hard to deceive. You need to know history. You need to know the forbidden tech. You need to know the origin of your doctrines. A soldier who knows he is surrounded fights harder. A soldier who thinks a helicopter is coming gets lazy. I want you to be the soldier who digs in. The timeline is critical. The deception is deep, but the victory is guaranteed. In the comments, I want you to answer this. If you knew for a fact you weren't being raptured, how would you live differently today? That answer? That is your new marching order. Stay critical, stay grounded.